Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
And
Right.
Good
good
morning,
morning,
MC.
Jeff. Oh my gosh. Jeff, thank you so much for being here with us. I can't imagine all the things that you've got on your plate and on your mind and on your heart. So thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. I'm happy to be here.
Well, absolutely. So, guys, we're going to get right to it this morning because we are joined by Jeff Stewart, who is also in the real estate world. He has a Keller Williams office in the mountains in Asheville. He has a real estate team. He's somebody that we know and respect, somebody who's very involved in his community. And I know how much we've all been thinking about the folks in the mountains of North Carolina. And we felt like Jeff was a great person for us to have on, hear how things are going, and also learn at this point how we can help. Because, Jeff, I can only imagine that the needs have changed. I'm sure what you guys needed day one is different than what you guys need today. So, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jeff, I mean, how are you doing? You've got to be exhausted. I mean, what's the general sense of things up there? How are people feeling?
Um, in general, I'll tell you that I'm very direct, so I'll be direct.
Great.
The adrenaline's gone. So I'm seeing we have about a 400 person office, and then I own a boutique luxury office also. And the adrenaline's gone, and people are emotionally like that emotional elasticity of being like so happy supplies came in, and then I've lost homes and people. Like, it's a from a mental health and emotional standpoint, it's really a sensitive time for Western North Carolina.
And Jeff, we were talking a little bit before we hopped on live as well. Will you tell us kind of how your house is?
Yeah.
What was the situation there?
I was fortunate enough to not have any. I had one tree fall in my garage, but no significant damage. But the hurricane hit in the morning. I'm an early riser, and as the intensity of it went up, we're just not used to that in the mountains. So I like a good thunderstorm. It's like, wow, nature's powerful, and I love it. During the storm, we have a stormwater drain above our house, and it's about 36-inch pipe, and the system failed, and was full to the top, shooting water at the front of my house. Probably 40 feet. My house sits about 40 feet below it on a lake, and this pipe was just shooting water out. And I literally had to go out as daybreak was hitting with a shovel, and I had to dig a trench around the front of my house to keep the water from washing us out, basically.
And it worked.
It worked. I'll give you some pictures because it's crazy.
That
And it
is,
was full of rocks, which didn't help.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I,
Jeff, yeah, I'm just so happy
yeah.
yeah, that you were there and that you were able to do that. And I keep reading all these things. I mean, just I know everybody gets this now, but I just keep going back and thinking about, so you'd had these couple of storms in the days leading up to the hurricane, right? That made everything saturated,
It
which
was
yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. So, I was at a leadership event in Charlotte on, I guess, Wednesday night and Thursday, and, my wife called and said our garage was flooding, and I was like, "That's impossible. We're, like, on a like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And she was getting, like, a little bit more panicked, and I was like, I don't get it. It's rain." And then she told me, and talk about a strong woman, she went and drove 25 minutes to a Lowe's and got 20 bags of sand and loaded them herself, and then put them around my garage to try and get the water away from it. So we had, I haven't seen the actual stats, but I think it was 8 to 10 inches of rain the day before the hurricane hit. So the ground's fully saturated. I packed up and came home and cleaned out the garage, not knowing what was about to happen the next morning. It was devastating.
Hmm, that's awful.
So, Jeff, one thing, I know, I just want to touch briefly on just that the death toll. I mean, just the being there and being surrounded by these search and rescue and the people who didn't survive. And I mean, you talk about, loss, and you talk about the emotional toll on the people who, on your community. I can't imagine it.
So we're not prepared for that. Just as humans, if that's not something you experienced or equipped to handle. And my agent base is dealing with actual loss of life and how to navigate that in their immediate proximity during this event. There's lots of missing people. I want just topography wise, we sit in the mountains, and it is typical that at the in your valleys is where the rivers are, and it's typical that our roads run beside the rivers, right? Because that's
Sure,
the lowest grade from a topography standpoint.
sure.
So what happened was the rivers had so much water in them, so they're calling it 1,000-year flood. So they had so much water in them, they undercut the roads, and the roads literally fell into the rivers. And why that matters is because the communities that are remote are way up in the mountains, and they actually have lost access. So when you see these like efforts to get help there, that's literally to people were stranded, getting like choppered out,
Mm.
groups of 8 or as many they could get on the helicopter. It's I'm sure you've seen the pictures on the news, but it is I'm not a sensationalist. It is worse than you see on the news. It is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, it just gives me full body chills.
I
It's
know, Jeff, I
awful to
know.
think about.
Okay, so I guess I think we're all thinking the same thing, which is what can we do? What can we do? So I know you guys have had a lot of supplies delivered. I understand that maybe now you guys on the ground are at the point where you know what you need. So is it monetary donations that you need now more than anything?
First of all, I want to say, like, thank you. And I'm getting emotional now, but the amount of support we got was like, it's incredible. But I've said this comment a lot, and I want people to listen because you're coming from a place, speaking generally, you're coming from a place of generosity and urgency. And it's like, what can I get? What can I do to help? How can I get stuff there? What I didn't realize until I was in this event is that that urgency becomes mine if it doesn't come through correct channels and there isn't communication about what the need is. So people were trying to help and handing me urgency. So I had, 20 trucks show up full of water and supplies, didn't know where to put them, didn't know how to warehouse them. So
Mm,
I had to build like a full distribution network. We have some agents that are out serving the communities and doing the same thing and doing everything they can. But it really is important, and especially with what's going on in Florida, it's really important that you ask, what do you need and what channels can I get it through? It's like shooting a shotgun or like a rifle or something. It's a lot coming at people, and really financial contribution is going to be the biggest thing. I no one is I don't believe we're getting appropriate attention to this, but it was 46 degrees when I woke up this morning.
Mm.
And if your house was flooded, it's likely your ducting was under your floor. It's likely your furnace was under the floor in the basement. And because we've been so long without power, now we're getting power, but I don't think those systems have been fired up, and they're not going to work. I mean, ducting deteriorates when it gets wet. So we're collecting all the places you can contribute to the community. And then I personally, with some friends, have put together a link to try and get heaters to this area.
okay.
You got a generator, you can get some heat. And there's a lot of generators out there. There's a lot of electricity that's working now, but I'm worried about our people in the community. We're supposed to see the 30s this weekend.
Mm.
And that's not okay.
That's something I didn't even think about.
I
The
didn't
change,
either.
we're on the cusp of the
Yeah,
change
changing in
of
the seasons. Yeah, and then the overnight. I mean, just the swing in y'all's temperature, just how cold it gets overnight. Yeah.
We had our regional director yesterday. It was 81 degrees when we were in my car, and we woke up to 46 this morning.
That is wow. So we will 100% put the link. It's a GoFundMe, and then you source the heaters and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in the comments along with anything else that you guys have.
Yeah.
501(c)(3) fully going to the community. So make sure people understand that uh, any help is appreciated, right? But if you can help us channel it into ways that I know we can, it sounds dramatic, but
Do
save
the
some.
most good. Oh,
I will, like, we are 100% committed to all that money as a pass through and getting heat and blankets and sleeping bags to as many people as we can.
Oh man.
I know, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, man. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I think that is very well said and well expressed, so that we know how much everything that's already been done has been appreciated, and now it's time to let you guys, because you got access to the heaters and the blankets and the sleeping bags, and you can figure that out if you just have the funds to purchase them.
That's right. And to be clear, there's a lot of fantastic organizations out there, and I already sent you a one sheeter with
Great.
a links on it. So if you'll pass that on, it doesn't have
Yes.
to come to me. I just I I it's almost impalpable the amount of need and devastation. Like it's I've never seen anything in it, and it's a cliche to say a war zone, but within 5 minutes of my office, I can drive into areas that are absolutely erased. It's just piles of wood and metal everywhere. Semi trucks in trees, like leaning against trees,
Gosh.
off the ground, 10 feet off the ground, a semi trailer just in a tree.
Ooh.
Well,
That's,
Jeff, do
yeah.
we, I think before we let you go, I guess one of the things I'd like to do with your permission is I'd like to check back in with you. I mean, of course, on a personal level, and I'd also like to check back in with you with our audience so that we can come back and find out. I mean, this is, I wish we could say this was going to be a short road, and we all know that it's not,
Yeah.
right? So what you need now may be different than what you need in a few weeks. Again, I guess if we can figure out how to get monetary donations to these places that are pass-throughs, that are categorized such that people can make these,
Yeah.
tax deductible donations. I mean, it's just such a win-win in so many ways. But then
Yeah.
understanding, yeah, what you guys need moving forward.
I want to ask you one more thing. You guys have an amazing impact in your world, and you're getting out in front of a lot of people. If you can have your network, if you're watching this, if you know somebody in Western North Carolina, check on them.
Mm.
The mental health aspect of this, I know this feels really grandiose, but I've never seen anything like this. And people are hurting. The adrenaline's gone, and they're trying to figure out. I have agents that their houses are gone, not broken. They floated down the river. So if you, meaning the people watching, if you're have any ties to Western North Carolina, give them that little encouraging phrase, or just call and check on them, because it's a lot emotionally. It's a lot to navigate.
Man.
No kidding, Jeff.
Jeff,
Well, yeah.
and go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was going to ask I'm sure it's hard to find right now.
Yeah.
Although knowing you, Jeff, it's probably not.
And so we ask a lot of all of our guests the same final question, but I kind of want to rephrase it to you. We usually ask what has been saving your life right now, but I'm curious what has been kind of giving you hope through all of this. Has there been a specific story or something in general that, has given
You
you
know,
hope?
um, this is going to sound a little bit cliche, but I mean it. There's a like gravitas to my personal purpose. Like something like this happens, and I've been in a bunch of leadership capacities and do my best to pour into the people around me. And for me, it's the ability to step up and actually create positive impact, when like in such a way that isn't, there's no icing, there's no birthday candles and sparkles. This is core necessity stuff.
Mhm.
And for me, it's been really grounding to have the opportunity to be in a position to do that.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Well, Jeff, thank you
Thank
for
you, Jeff.
sharing all of this.
Yeah, we are thinking about you guys.
Yes, for sharing what it's like there, and also ways that we can help you guys right now. I love the idea of coming back and checking in, because needs and mindset and how things feel there are going to change probably every day. And yeah, we'd love to check back in with you soon.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Jeff,
Jeff.
thank
Sending you
you.
guys so much love.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. Oh my gosh.
That's heavy. Yeah. Like you see the stories on Facebook, you hear about it everywhere. I don't know why I get emotional about it.
No,
It's
I
just
know.
so sad.
It's really sad. It's really sad. So you guys, if you have been able to join us this morning, we're going to get those links out to you so that you guys can also contribute. I know.
Woo!
I
Okay,
know, I know, I know, I know. And so, I think that what is saving my life
Oh,
right
yes.
now,
Yes, this one's
yes, what
exciting.
is saving my life right now, I think, is just being able to connect with all of you guys who might be watching, who might see this video, and to know that you will spring into action, just like us, and that you want to help, and to now have some updated ways that we can all do that.
Yes, I love it. And also, we do have an exciting, sorry guys, I mean, here we are on Coffee with MC, nice and authentic. We do have a really exciting announcement that does impact
I
Hurricane
totally
Helene.
forgot about that.
Same
Yeah.
for a second, but this is a really cool way that folks in our community and even outside of our community who love it can give back to local organizations and charities here, and also a portion of it will go toward Hurricane Helene efforts. And this is, you might have seen it on our social media, and if you're on our email list, you might have seen it a little bit early. But Andy on our team has put together an amazing 2025 calendar full of images from 12 local photographers, and 100% of proceeds go back to MC Carey Gives, which is our nonprofit arm, where we then delineate those funds back out into our community and into our state. So those are now available for pre-sale. And again, all proceeds go back to local organizations, and also a portion will go back to Hurricane Helene efforts.
Great. That's exactly right. If y'all know, we host the Carteret Curated People's Choice Awards. So 10 of these photos are your favorite photos that you voted on, each one by a different local photographer. And then we added 2 extras in there. So it's this awesome flip calendar. It has upcoming really cool dates for Carteret County
Yes.
happening in 2025 already printed in the calendar.
35 of them, over 35.
35 different
local
events are already in the calendar, a different local image from each month. These photographers were so generous in letting us use their images, knowing that all the proceeds are going back to folks in need, again, including folks
Yes.
in Western North Carolina. So they'd be great Christmas presents. Just a really cool way to celebrate Carteret County and also to give back. So
Absolutely.
thank you for remembering that,
Of course,
Meg. Thank you
of
for remembering
course.
that. Okay, guys. Okay, lots of love. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.